The year is 1997. The wrestling world was starting to heat up big time. WWF was the big man on campus, until WCW started turning up the heat. Wrestlers like Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Lex Luger, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall all jumped ship to WCW for bigger and better contracts. And with that, the competition got thick. The start of the infamous Monday Night Wars. During this time, the next-gen consoles were running strong and showcasing their 3D capabilities. WCW hadn't released a wrestling game since Super Brawl on the Super Nintendo, and WCW vs. the World would be the first in a series of games that were made by THQ for the new consoles. The gameplay is the basic engine of what would later be fine-tuned and used for WCW NWO World Tour and Revenge. But this early version of that grappling system feels clunky and laggy. Everything is delayed. It still feels better than games like Nitro and Thunder. It's decently easy to pick up and play, and doesn't leave you searching for button combinations to perform a move. There's over 50 wrestlers to choose from. Problem is, only a few of them are actually WCW wrestlers. I mean, there's a shitload of real-life Japanese wrestlers that they simply changed the names of due to copyrights. This pisses me off. I mean, this was 1997, and the NWO was running strong. So, where the hell is Hall and Nash? Where's guys like DDP, Harlem Heat, Chris Jericho? This just seems extremely incomplete. I mean, I don't want to play as a bunch of Guess Who wrestlers that I've most likely never even heard of. I want to know why the hell they decided to put somebody like Regal in the game over Macho Man. Some of these guys, pretty easy to figure out who they are. I mean, this is clearly Sabu. But it does make sense that all these other people are in the game. I mean, it is called WCW versus the World, or Virtual Pro Wrestling in Japan. Now, if you're thinking, damn, these graphics suck. Nah, I agree with you. They weren't really up to par for 1997 standards. They're not that great. I mean, there were fighting games like Battle Arena Toshinden that looked a lot better, and that game actually came out 2 years earlier. But that's the thing with wrestling games in the 90s. It didn't matter too much how the game looked, as long as it played well. And one of the things that made this game unique were all the match options. There's modes like League Challenge, Best of 7, Exhibition, Tournament, and Elimination. Not to mention there was a Create a Belt mode, which was definitely ahead of its time. The music has an early 90s kind of cheesy 2D fighting game style to it, but that's actually the reason I like it. I feel games these days have too much emphasis on using licensed songs from big name bands. Back in 1997 that wasn't really common, and you got more original music like what you got in this game. This game definitely isn't a bad game. It was kind of the first of the 3D wrestling titles for the newer systems, so there was a lot of room for improvement after this game, which led the way to bigger and better games like WCW NWO Revenge. You can pick this game up pretty cheap online these days, and if you're a wrestling game fan or a collector, it's definitely worth giving this game a shot. Just don't expect too much out of it.